it, but three of us were from LSU, so we were like, yeah, like we have a real shot at this, we'll take it. And FZ was like, yeah, fine. I mean, Toronto's decent. They have FZ, they have specialty. And I think their other players are okay, so they might be able to carry to finals. So we're all okay with that. And yeah, so we're going for Dorm. No. So last year we had two teams. I was like pioneering. I reached out on Reddit to players. I managed to get a 5 together. And then out of nowhere, this other 5 came. So my 5 last year was me, some guy called The Winds. Then we had Joe, Orlick, and Succubus, who were like... Orlick was a Jaina only player. Could kind of play Li Ming, but it was Jaina only. Our tank Succubus could only play Johanna, so it was like Jaina Joe every 1-2 rotation. It's horrible to draft. And the other 2 were actually decent. And then this other team came out of nowhere. It was Heck Draded. I think they had Cruxius, Folden, and one other, and they managed to make it to the round of 16. Sorry, we lost in the round of 64. They beat Assumption, who were a Final Four favorite, which had Crowan on it. So, good job for them. And then afterwards, we were just like, hey, like we're pretty decent. I actually subbed for a few of their scrims, coached them a little bit to their top 16, and then afterwards we just started playing together. And then current squad is me, Draded, Heck, so the core from imported support. We were meant to have Folden from the team last year, but he has other commitments. He's like, yeah, I can't really commit the time. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair. So we have the Winds, who was on my team last year. He's on tank. And then we have Vicuri, who has a strong League of Legends background with Heck and Draded. So he's coming in on Ranged Assassin. He's decent at the game as well. We're all former Grandmaster, so we'll see.
Great.
If you call 4 hours a week a lot, then yeah, but otherwise no. So Heck and Draded are both on HGC Open teams. So, like, as we'll find out, Draded is on LFM and Heck is still on imported support. So they have Draded has to scrim like 20 hours a week. Heck's a little bit more relaxed, like maybe 12 to 16 hours. But then finding time between everyone's like social schedule, exam schedule, because we've got midterms coming up as well, and then scrim schedule. Right now, we only have like a 4-hour block on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
But then moving forward, yeah.
Well.
But I mean, we all have natural talent. When we can, we'll play like 2 or 3 stack team league.
Right.
If everyone's on, we'll be like, hey, like let's see if we can find an impromptu scrim, or we have 2 hours. Like Drade will scrim for like 4 hours, and you're like, oh, I'm tired as hell, but yeah, I'll come play.
Right.
So.
Well, you can't expect a dorm team to practice like an HGC team. Obviously, they're in school, so you know it makes sense.
There are some that are going hard.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, UTA for one, but that is their HGC team, so.
Right. It's the same team almost. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is.
No, it's the same.
It's the
all
exact,
5. Okay.
Yeah, it's Cure, Yuge, Toby, Kevin, and Claudius.
Oh, okay. Well, they should. Yeah. They have the experience under their belt. So.
Yeah.
So we have to ask a few questions of the guest before we get started, just to get to know them a little bit. So we asked you a couple about Hairs of the Dorm. You're obviously not from Louisiana.
I am not. What gave it away?
Where is it that you're from?
I'm from North London.
Okay.
I started out in the EU scene with Heroes. My first actual team had Bakery on it. Mm-hmm. He played Valor only back in the day. I think we actually played with Quibsy as well, who was former of 2ARC back in the days of the NA scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my start. Then went into a team with Kendrick Swish, who everyone should probably know Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his competitive team. It was me and 4 Germans, so I made them call in English. So that was actually pretty decent. And then, yeah, moved to NA. Started playing NA servers for like 6 months before I moved on like 120 ping. Had stints with a few teams. Probably most notably, I was like interim sub for like 6 weeks for Stellar Lotus.
Okay.
And then, yeah, moved out. Yeah.
What brought you stateside?
Oh, college. Just purely college.
Would you say that you, because of your experience with like those European teams and stuff, do you think you draft a little bit more in a European style, or have you fully adopted the NA draft style?
I don't know. Like, meta was way back. Like, it was so different back in Alpha.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
on unimported, FZ would be the main drafter because, like, he had, I don't know how, but he had contacts with people in like E-Star.
Okay.
So like he'd message them and talk about drafts, and so we'd have like that Chinese influence coming in,
Right.
and he'd always be one step ahead. But EU and NA, they're the same but very different in a sense.
Okay. Yeah, they are more similar than like say like the Asian regions are to NA and stuff for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Oh, of course. What is your favorite skin in the game? Gotta ask that. That's a tough
And
one.
mount.
Okay,
Like the
so
drive.
I'll just go through the skins I use because like I think that's it. Like I'm a support. I play like what 4 heroes.
Yeah.
So Brightwing I use. Like I was a Brightwing main. I must have 1K games Brightwing. I have like 600 on my EU account. I use base skin 3rd tint. I think it's the dark skin.
Right.
Like black tint.
Okay.
That stems from EU days. They were like me and some guy called Ace of Green out were Brightwing one tricks. He'd always use 2nd variant. I always use 3rd.
Oh, that was like
That's where that one comes
that was
from.
your thing. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monk is pleb horse and base skin. Pleb horse out for Harambe.
All right. I mean, that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, pour one out for the homie and all that.
Yeah.
Represent.
What else do I play? Malfurion. I don't like any of the skins. Hero's
Really?
trash.
Ah, I love
Yeah,
the
no.
skins.
Hero's trash.
I mean, he's definitely a bad
Hate this
hero
meta.
that nobody plays.
Yo.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the topic of Malfurion, I'm just going to tangent here.
Okay.
So after Seattle, I took a break. I went and worked CS:GO events. I went to New York, did the event out there. So I took like a good 3-4 week break. Came back and suddenly Malfurion's in the meta, and I'm like, I haven't played this hero since Alpha, and I still hate to play it.
Really?
It's no,
What is it about it that you don't like?
I don't know.
I think we all have heroes like that that we just aren't. We just don't enjoy for whatever reason. Yeah. Sylvanas is mine. So.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then like what other sports are there? Medic, I think
Medic.
I use base skin.
Okay.
Medic is base skin plus Wonder Billy.
Uther.
Uther is Medic Uther red tint
That's a
with
good one.
Direwolf white skin. Yep.
Now, do you think you're going to be adding a 5th support to your pool here? Do you like Lucio?
I haven't played it.
Haven't played him. Like the idea of Lucio, maybe. He's like
I don't know,
he's like an
Bakery
amped up
seem-
Brightwing.
Bakery seems to like really think of him highly,
Yeah, he's
but I think
cool.
lack of cleanse is, I don't know,
Could be a
especially
problem.
right now with
Mhm.
like Varian in the meta. Like Varian stun on 4 is just stun CC.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have had success with it. We ran it last night. We actually ran a disgusting comp last night, and
Yeah. Variant Ragnaros, Sulfuris Smash, all that. Yeah, it's nasty, for sure.
we ran Varian Chromie.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, same idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's that sounds gross. So you picked a couple.
Yeah, it was.
So you picked a couple games for us to go over the
Yep.
draft. So the first one you picked was, I believe, from the HGC qualifier semifinals, which
Yeah,
was.
so this was, I think this was quarterfinals, I think. Yeah, this
Okay.
was quarterfinals, so it was the Monday night. It was LFM, which is Drayded's team, against Imported Sport,
Mhm.
which is Hex team, so I thought have a bit of LSU going on here. And
Right,
two
right.
very decent teams, both looking really good.
Yeah.
I think on any given day, any maybe top 6 team can take a HGC Open, but like endurance hurts teams. Like playing till 3 a.m. is not ideal, so.
Right, totally. Okay, and it's on Cursed Hollow. So
Yes.
obviously one of the first maps and one that gets played a lot, and kind of has had a lot of time for teams to figure out. And what are your basic, especially from a support perspective or just in general, what do you think of Cursed Hollow and what's important there?
I mean, support's pretty linear. Like, there's not really supports not many support picks that are just like map generic.
Right.
Apart from like you maybe switch it up for like BOE, or like when you need a global. So a map like Cursed Hollow where globals then gain a bit more priority.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Brightwing certainly raises up in value, but I mean, you still have Malfurion. It's always going to be top tier. If you can get like a God Valor comp, then Ariel comes into play. Less so Gul'dan, which reduces Ariel's priority. Medics in a weird place right now, so like Malfurion or globals are what you look for here, really.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, pretty well known that the globals are really strong here. So the first ban goes to imported support, and they actually ban out Zarya first.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a step towards getting rid of that Valor comp, because like
Mm-hmm.
Zarya adds shields to the Valor, like if you put a Zarya shield on anyone, someone can step up, and then suddenly there's an expulsion doing like 600 damage to you. Like, Zarya is insane right now, and on a map where zoning is huge, interrupts, you can just stall with Qs, and then boss steals are always a threat with Zarya, so it's a nice way to get rid of it here.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
There's a lot of chokes here, which
Yeah, exactly.
loses the value of that.
Yeah.
Now there's a hero that a lot more players are sick of. The second ban here from LFM is going to be Tassadar. Tassadar, both pre-rework and post-rework, is seeing a lot of play and bans. What do you think?
Tell us a little bit. Yeah, tell us a little bit how Tassadar shifted with his rework and his role on teams now.
So yeah, I've been seeing like a few different task builds. Like as I said, I'm not scrimming that much, and we just tend to ban it. So I've been seeing like Hero League task builds. 20 Archon is disgusting for starters. Like,
yeah,
an Archon which you can sustain throughout an entire team fight, and if you're fighting around, like if you're sieging up or something like that, and you just attack a fort and suddenly like the Archon's refreshed.
Yeah.
Like 20 Archon is seriously dangerous.
With a 40% slow. Yeah.
Yeah, splash damage. Like it's insane. As for shields, I mean, it's still a decent shield meta. Like you pick that with a Zarya, or you pick that like Tass Mouth is pretty dangerous, and then Tass is just like that enabler. With picks like Illidan, Sonya, Vala, like a Tass just enables so much more in your composition. You can just go so many ways with it without giving away too much.
Right. Yeah.
Do you see him continuing to be banned out pretty regularly? Do you think the meta is going to shift relatively soon, or no?
No, I think especially with Lucio coming in, it just gives that opportunity for a second support, and Tash just fits perfectly in there. So.
Support,
yeah, if Lucio does become like that tier 1, tier 2 support, Tash will still be meta.
Yeah, it's I like what they've done with him, but he's just got so much going on that it's hard to ignore him.
Yeah. What do you think the best way to deal with a good Tass is at this point?
It's tough.
Yeah. I think maybe one thing could be like nerf scaling damage of Archon, maybe, just so that you still have that late game option, but it's no longer a huge threat. Well, maybe like nerf the slow.
Do you think there are any draft picks currently that help against Tassadar? Like counters? I mean, he doesn't really have a counter.
Yeah, just anything with like huge burst. Like if you can burst through shield, someone's real squishy.
Varian's a good choice against him actually for those reasons. Taunt and stuff. So. Yeah,
exactly. If you can just hard CC someone down, and like the shield's cooldown's still pretty decent.
Yeah.
So if you can get rid of like that shield straight away and burst someone, then you're pretty good. And then Tass becomes a little more susceptible. Of course, when he hits 10, he does get the rewind essentially on the E. But it's pretty predictable when someone eases Tass, like where they're going to end up, especially if they're low. So
yeah, it's true. Okay, so first pick from imported support here is someone we talked about a little. It's Malfurion first pick. So much to your tastes, I'm sure you've played plenty of Malfurion in your time.
Yep, kind of have to.
Yeah.
So. I mean, top tier support right now. Like, what other support are you gonna pick? Are you gonna? I guess the option here is to go like Malfurion or Rag, or try and get globals on the board early. But they go for the Malfurion instead. They're like, hey, we have something planned for Rag. We can give it up. Pretty sure he got a hot fix. Oh no, that was after. But he did get a nerf in the previous patch, so it's not as much of a threat. But Sulfuras can still break fights, especially in the chokes.
Yeah.
But they did go for the Malfurion instead, which is fine. I mean, silence is huge. If they do then go into that Rag style comp, then you have that heavy melee where the silence then gets even more value. And then root's always nice in chokes. Healing's decent. It's all good.
Right.
Yeah,
he's kind of the all-around first pick healer.
And he was ignored for so long too. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
well,
and then they buffed him.
They got those big buffs.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
shifted him.
Root buff was probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, the roots and
mana on Twilight.
Yeah, the cooldown reduction and mana. All that stuff. Yeah. Okay. So LFM here picks a really kind of beefy first two picks. I didn't even mean to make that a joke, but there it is. ETC and Ragnaros. But like really sturdy frontliners there with a lot of control.
Yeah. So right here you've got what? the stun in Power Slide, the displacement in ETCW, and then rag stun and just rag damage, and rag control. Like if your team gets cursed, you can just take control over fort. Like so good.
Right.
And control over like stall on tributes. Rag's great at that too. And of course ETC is a global when he gets 10, so you've got that extra bit of soak in the back too. I mean, they're just two solid picks, solid front line, and here you're not really showing much. You can transition into almost any support, any range combo, second tank if needed, and just essentially go for whatever.
Do you think ETC is the best warrior in the game right now? Still?
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah. He's always been. The guy's always been great. It must be why he's like level 18 on my account or something.
I mean, when you have a support, or when you have a tank, that can either go for like a global or a game-winning ult, like that is Mosh Pit. I mean, come on.
And he still fills his tank job really well, without sacrificing those big spells.
Yeah, he is a little bit squishier than most tanks, but then he has his E to fall back on, which is fine. And then you get groupies, and suddenly you're another support as well. So.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. So
it seems like these all-around kind of meta pick heroes, right? I mean, the Rag can do a lot, the Melf can do a lot, etc. There's still these heroes that are clearly defined as being number one in their respective classes, right?
Like,
do you think that there needs to be more diversity here? I mean, or do you think the meta's just kind of settled in that place where it's okay because they're better, but they're not necessarily OP?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can still pick Muradin. Like, you still have that option. Like, you can still pick Tyrael. Like, Sanct is still huge.
Yeah.
What other tanks are? I mean, you're seeing Zarya. She got banned out.
Right.
As this draft goes on, you'll see it is actually very heavy tank focused. So,
yeah.
I mean, there are these other options. It's just ETC. You can pick it up. You can then go into like a second warrior if needed, or you can go for like double support and still support that front line. Like, it's just something you can pick early. It's a great solid pick, and it gives nothing away in the rest of your draft. So
yeah, it's just a and that's a trend we've seen a lot in these drafts since we started. Is the value of a hero that doesn't give something away early in the draft. He's really good. He or she is really good, and doesn't tell you what they're going to play.
Yeah. It's like if you go Vikings in the 1-2, then you're like, oh, they're going to have a really strong foreman. Like, let's try and ban this out. Or if someone goes like Illidan, it's like, oh, okay, they're going for a TAS comp. Or so you ban the Rhaegar. Or just something like that. Like, if someone goes TAS, then it's like, oh, Valor comp. Like, it's just those that they essentially broadcast how the rest of their draft is going. Unless you prepare for it and be like, hey, like, we've baited you into this ban. Haha, we actually want to pick this instead.
Right. Which does happen from time to time. So over here on the side of import support, they pick up a tank that's become more prevalent and definitely one of the top tanks, Dahaka and Falstad. Although he's not always, you don't see him solo tanking too often, but he does a solid job. And Falstad with the global. What do you think of these picks?
With adaptation, you can solo tank for sure. But I think you need a bit more of a stronger healer. Than just the Malfurion, because then it's just like you have no burst heal to keep you alive to allow that adaptation to go off. Yeah,
I've been in that situation with Dahaka where I'm like, my adaptation's going off, I have 50 stacks healing me, and I have a Malf heal, and I'm dead. Because you have to wait.
Yeah, but I mean, these two picks are huge. Like, you've like, we've got globals on the board right now. Like, we are going to out-soak you. How are you going to respond to this? Dahaka brings in same CC and same push. Like, the Dahaka Rag lane is one that we're going to see a lot and have been seeing a lot. Like, Rag can probably trade pretty well, but Dahaka will just shove your wave until you brain dead. So, Falstad, on the other hand, again, strong solo laner. Recently been seeing them go Seasoned Marksman, so it's that auto-attack style.
Oh, okay.
And of course, like, Gust.
Right. Always Gust.
Do you see the change to Hinterland's plan?
So
last coming, making a big change here or not?
Had a few discussions. So back on Imported, Shot was a Falstad one trick. Like, he was Falstad God. I'd say top 3, maybe 4 Falstad NA. He's just really good at that hero. And he was like, yo, this Hinterland change is garbage. Like, it's going to be terrible. It's an ult that is easy to miss, like, unless they're in a choke, unless they're terrible players. Like, you're going to miss this. It doesn't do anything. It's still super long cooldown. Then we had Draded. He was like, yo, this is actually pretty good. Like, you hit 2 heroes, this is a 70-second cooldown ult. Like, you somehow hit an entire team, that's 5 by 25. I mean, at that point, actually no, it's because it's 15 seconds. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's 25.
Yeah, so if it's 25,
25,
yeah, you hit all 5 players.
Yeah, that's it's reset. Yeah.
Yeah, that's reset.
It's reset. It's free.
That's why I had to stop myself there. Like, you hit 4 players, that's 100 seconds. It's on 20 seconds. Like, you open up a fight, hit 4 players, it's up again for the snipe at the end. Like,
right.
But
I mean, it'll feel.
I don't know.
It would. I mean, nothing could feel better than double hinterlands blasting a mosh pit, though. Like, that's gonna happen, and it's gonna be great. So at least it's fun. Yeah, I don't know how good it'll be, but it sounds all right. I don't know. We'll see.
With Gust still how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gust is just like, Gust is a playmaker. Hinterlands is just a point and click, I guess.
Yeah, it's just it's
like,
just
you
a
can
spell.
make plays with Gust. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree that we'll probably still see Gust, but I don't know. Maybe if they're with the right comp, like a heavy CC comp or something.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, Bakery's team playing with Pain is Pain, like they were dominating EU. Back in Alpha, they had essentially Hinterland Blast comp. It was like Tyrael Judgment, Falstad Hinterlands, and Hunt Illidan. Like, they would kill you from Fog of War. Like.
Yeah, that's fun. There's so many more options now than when the game was that old, though, for blowing someone up. You know, like
that's true.
Like, you don't have to do stuff like that anymore. You can just do it the old-fashioned way, or the new-fashioned way, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dahaka Falstad, and then LFM bans Diablo. There's another warrior there that definitely sees some play.
Yeah, so with this, they're like, hey, like, they have Mouth, they have Dahaka, they need a second tank here. So they get rid of Diablo, and I mean, it's pretty undisputed. Diablo, second best tank right now. His damage late game is insane. His regen in fights is insane, especially if you pick up a globe.
Like Devils do, yeah.
Yeah, it's
pretty good. APOT combos pretty well with the other heroes they picked up.
Yeah, like, if you get Silence APOC, it's pretty good.
So that leaves them basically with Johanna and Tyrael to choose from as far as tanks.
With Zarya out as well. Yeah. I mean, they could go Muradin, but it's like, why are you going Muradin?
Yeah. When do you think a team should play Johanna?
Tomb,
just wave clear. Okay.
Yeah, you can kind of argue for Battlefield as well, for blinds and CC, but Tomb, or you've been choked on tanks and you need something to CC.
Right.
Like, if you're going for a stun comp and you've been choked out of tanks, like, Joe's okay.
Yeah, she definitely can tank. She's just very passive, but she has her place for sure. Okay. So that's the ban on Diablo, and then a Zeratul ban from imported support. So I was looking through this draft, and I actually didn't know why the Zeratul ban here, so I'm curious.
Have you ever played as Malfurion into Zeratul?
Yeah, actually, I have.
It's pretty hard. Yeah. Like,
that's
especially true. Like, as the Malfurion player and as trying to support your other players, like, Zeratul just comes out of nowhere. He's bouncing around.
Right.
He's just gonna, like, jump around.
Simple as that. Yeah.
Put a load of burst damage out, and especially with, like, VP Mosh, VP Sulfurous, something like that. VP plus anything on this setup, like, you're pretty susceptible. Like, if he just VPs, Malfurion and Falstad are probably dead out of it, and they have the melee slot filled with Dahaka, so you can kind of guess they're going for this triple range style of squishy heroes, and Zeratul will just counter that so easily.
Right. So. Yeah, and actually that's a good point with the Void Prison. If you look at ETC and RAG, the 2 picks they've shown, Void Prison just empowers those guys' ults so much. So yeah, okay.
It's just free setup, especially if, like, you're dancing around a tribute, and suddenly a VP out of nowhere. Zeratul just allows for so much, so it's a decent ban.
Yeah. All right. Going back over to LFM, who I haven't actually gotten to see play yet, but I'd like to. They pick up Li Ming and Varian.
Yeah. So Li Ming, standard ranged hero. Like, the options for ranged right now are like Li Ming, Tychus. You can't really go Vala because you've got no support. Am I missing any? No, I think it was.
I mean,
like
Raynor. Raynor shoots, but he's not really in the meta.
Falstad's been picked.
Right.
KT and Jaina, but they don't really give you too much.
Yeah.
Li Ming's decent. Like, she can stall tributes for a while.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, they've got 2 squishy heroes already. If Li Ming gets reset, she's popping off.
Right.
So it's decent. And then the Varian. just more CC.
Do you
really,
know? Do you know if you went taunt this game? I'm assuming you did.
I assume so. Yeah. Like if you don't go taunt right now, why are you picking Varian? Like stun at 4 is insane. Into taunt, they're CC'd for like what 2.25 seconds. Into Assault Furious, they're dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like and Varian at level 4 means that then Li Ming is hitting an entire combo on you. And Mouth cannot sustain that. So
yeah, it's true. Now, despite all the Mouth's strengths, yeah, he is definitely. I mean, it's good to see the Mouth and then exploit the lack of burst healing. I mean, that's always been the deal with Mouth. He just used to also be kind of bad in general. Like now he has the roots and much better heals and cooldowns and mana. You know, so it's good. Yeah, if you're out there drafting and you're going to be facing a lot of Malfurions, it's good to try and get burst damage heroes like Li Ming, Varian CC. Yeah, for sure. Okay. What else? Last two. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're imported support here, I mean, obviously you're probably looking to pick up another tank, maybe. Obviously, some more damage. What do you think is the best option here?
So, I think if these drafts and teams were swapped, I think LFM pick up like a Medivh here.
Okay.
I don't know in place of what, but I think they go from Medivh.
Right.
Like if someone's setting up an insane stun comp on you and you only have Malfurion for heals, Medivh is so good.
Right.
Like and then like you just shield someone and that's it. And then it's pretty easy to stack Qs because ETC Rag Varian like
all that melee.
Frontline.
Also a great disengage, almost like Gust with the arcane. What's it called?
Leyline.
Leyline seal. Yeah.
Yeah, Leyline's pretty good too. But instead they take a different route. The first one is the Tychus, which is it's decent, like for sure. You're going up against Varian, Rag, ETC. Like late game, you have what's the name of the level 4 stacking talent? In the Rhythm. That's it.
In the Rhythm. Yeah.
Like you have In the Rhythm. You've been stacking that for like 18 minutes on Cursed Hollow. Tanks frontline is melting. Like so long as even if you get taunted, it's okay. Like if you can get enough protection while taunted, that Varian's got to be dead.
Yeah. I mean, unless he does something crazy like a W build, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're able to activate your trait.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to get melted. And then ETC, it's so easy to punish with Tychus trait, so he just gets melted. Tychus pick is solid. Second one, again, I can see this pick getting value as well. It's the Tyrael. I mean, Sanct is so good. Sanct Holy Ground on boss fights.
Especially this is Sulfurous.
Yeah, if you can Sanct to Sulfurous, that's already a solid trade. If you can Sanct to get someone out of taunt, it's that extra kind of like cleanse essentially that comes in.
Yep.
Plus, with as choke pointy as this map is, it's
Holy Ground.
It can be helpful.
Holy Ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Double boss steals also.
Yep.
The Gust and the Holy Ground and the Sanct. I mean, that's boss control on both ends. Like so much. I mean, LFM has some too with potentially ETC and stuff. But yeah, definitely dominating on that aspect of the Cursed Hollow strategy.
Yep.
For sure. And so LFM ends up rounding out with Brightwing. Now, looking at this, I like imported supports comp. They both went double warrior, but the number of globals on one side versus the other, and also the strength of healing, I would give this draft to imported support. What do you think? Now, I don't know who wins this game, so...
Yeah, I can't remember who wins either. Actually, I think imported win this one. But like yeah, you can see straight away like if they're able to control the Varian CC, then they can just outsoak and get that lead. They have globals. Mouth can store tributes pretty well. So can Falstad, so can Tyrael. Like if you go Eldrin's talent at level 4, like you can just store for days. You just throw Qs out and then suddenly Qs back up again. So it's pretty good. For sure, you can see what LFM are trying to go for here, but I just don't think they have the healing.
Yeah, that's
like Varian. Yeah. Although he's a tank, he can be pretty squishy, especially to something like a Falstad here.
Would you have put a Rhaegar there or something instead of the Brightwing?
Or is the global worth it?
Yeah, I think it's the global. You need something to match. Just match the soak. But like Brightwing can actually. So I love one like solo lane as Brightwing, but you can't really do it. But Brightwing wins a decent amount of 1v1 matchups in lane, so you are able to bully a little if needed, if you need to. So you can see that pick there. I mean, other support picks, medic, you're too susceptible. Like Dahaka digs behind you, or suddenly Tyrael's on your face, or you get gusted, you can't really pick that.
Yeah.
I guess you could go Monk, but then again, lack of global.
Yeah.
Plus, it's one more melee. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You're then going
of
4
melee.
melee to like false starters.
So yeah, so it's hard. They're in a hard situation here as far as the support goes, and they decided to opt for just, hey, globals are great here, and we don't have one yet. So
Also,
WTC.
Yeah,
but...
the ult, yeah, but
also Brightwing block on E is pretty nice as well into that team. So
that's true.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, and Q at 4 for tribute stalls is nice.
Yeah, I do think overall though, imported support won this draft.
Yeah, I agree. It looked a little shaky at the start when you give over like ETC rag, but then they respond with the Dahaka Falstein. It's like, right, we're just gonna out-soak you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure. Okay, so yeah, looking at that one, we got one more game. But before we get to that, so you said you played Team League with your teammates and stuff. And what do you think the most important thing for someone drafting? Like, if you could say one tip to someone who's just how to draft better at home, just in their own games, like what's like a big mistake you see a lot of players make?
Big mistake we make a lot is whenever we team league, we just tend to do all random because Blizzard matchmaking sucks.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Wait, can you even random in Team League?
Yeah. So like we'll ban Cho, and then you just hover Cho or Go, and then it will just random.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you're really tryharding, is what you're saying in Team League.
Like basically, the rule is in Team League, unless you see a name you recognize, random.
Okay, got it. That's very.
It's all about communication practice. Like, it's team bonding.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
when the week after we qualified for Seattle, we all played Dota as a team. Like, we didn't scrim once. We just played Dota. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's team bonding.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, mistakes teams make in drafts. I guess it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a mistake. Like, is picking comfort picks a mistake?
I think so. Yeah.
It depends who your comfort picks are. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, go learn the heroes. That's me though. I'm like, yeah.
I don't know. I'm a Tyrande one trick in Hero League.
But if you're really good with Tyrande, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just because it's comfortable.
That's true.
Just because it's comfortable doesn't mean you're good at it, you know.
I think I don't know, from Hero League experience, there are some really weird picks at really weird times.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, if anyone first picks a support that isn't Malfurion, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then it's just about like picking low tier heroes when there's one that is 100% better, still open. Like, why are you going Reyna when you can go Tychus? Like, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going like Johanna when ETC's still up? Well, why are you going Joe when Dahaka's up on a big map? Why are you going Illidan when we're not in an Illidan meta? Just those kind of things.
Right. Now,
it's just about questioning your picks.
I do think one thing that, especially in Hero League, since you're by yourself, a lot of people could do is think about if you're a later pick, rather than what's meta or what hero you like. Think about what your team has picked and what it needs.
Round out the team. Yeah.
You gotta.
I mean,
I think a lot of people get tunnel vision on their hero, and it's not helpful. So.
Yeah, I fall foul to that. Like, I'm a support main only. I do not play anything else. So if I'm last pick, like usually it's fine because who the hell plays support in Hero League?
Right.
But I had someone 1-2 Uther the other day, so I was like, okay, cool. So in that situation, I just tend to pick Tyrande.
Right.
And I'll carry.
Yeah. I
will top hero damage. Like team.
Well, see, the fact that you're willing to play a support hero makes you more helpful in Hero League than 99% of people. So already, so yeah,
this is true.
Yeah.
I'll even pick Malf if I have to. Like, I'm that guy.
Ooh, such sacrifice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Know, right? Way to sacrifice your principles there.
Here, let me update these team names real quick. So the second game you picked was Gale Force Esports versus Team 8 on Towers of Doom. And this
we keeping it NA over here.
Yeah, for sure. Oops, I did the wrong one. Sorry. Alright, Team 8 is on the right.
Yep, GFE on left.
GFE on the left. Okay. And so Towers of Doom, obviously globals are important here too. What other sort of things are emphasized on this map?
Anything that can like stall or like skirmish really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a team that can skirmish really well, then suddenly you're 5v5 on bot shrine at like at level 4.
Yeah.
So if you have something that can like brawl well early on, then chances are you're going to get a lead. And if the other team's stupid enough to give up kills,
yeah,
then more for them.
Move ahead, yeah. Okay, yeah. So Cursed Hollow and Towers of Doom are similar. They have some parallels in a lot of ways. Obviously, they're very different maps, especially with the way the mechanics work and the core health and all that. But they emphasize a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
With chokes and globals.
Yeah, a lot of chokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something else on towers that's a lot more prioritized than on Cursed is that solo lane.
Right.
Like if you can have control of top and also camps as well. Like I mean, yeah, team get siege at 155 on Cursed. Like yeah, that's fine. But having control of camps on towers, like it is so easy to call Towers of Doom if you're ahead. It's like right, okay, we'll get our camp, then we'll go push into their camp because we have a level lead, and then we get control of bot. And then it's like, oh, 1 minute later, okay, both camps are up again. We just want to fight. This camp, control of bot. Let's escort. Like if you get control of bot on towers via camps, it's so hard to lose from that position.
Right. Yeah. And when this map first came out, people thought that the mercs were least important on this map. Like they were not impactful in that. Yeah. Now it's like they're the most impactful on this map.
It's the fact that like I guess their cooldown is so low.
Right. They just keep spawning. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so Nova Bribe meta on Cursed Hollow. Or, I mean, Towers of Doom. Let's go.
I mean, there was that one brawl, right?
Yeah, pumpkins all day.
That's true.
Pumpkins all
That's
day.
True.
All right, so first ban.
Who's your favorite support to play? Period here.
Baywing.
Okay.
Baywing. All right. I mean, yeah, makes sense.
I've been a Brightwing one trick for the longest time.
Yeah.
So the map didn't change that at all.
Well, plus, I mean, she's still got that global, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Even makes sense.
Well, that's true on every map, but
yeah. All right. First ban from Team 8 is Dahaka. Now that's definitely a ban I like. I think Dahaka is extremely powerful on this map for all the reasons we just said. Globals, and he can kill pumpkins, and he's all over the place. So, any thoughts on Dahaka as far as the first pick?
I mean, it's a global out the way. Like, you obviously have something in mind. You want to pick a decently strong solo lane, so get rid of Dahaka, because otherwise he's just going to push mindlessly, so that's fine.
Yeah, he does that. And then the ban, another Tassadar ban coming out from Gale Force. We're going to see this a lot. He's not going anywhere, so...
Tass is Tass.
Yep. So...
And this Tass ban is actually really interesting because of how this draft goes on.
Right. Yeah, looking at it, I can see how he would definitely be a factor. Yeah. So this is an interesting first pick from Team 8. They first pick Zeratul.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So what do you think that's about?
I actually don't know if this might be after the swaps looking at it, but I highly doubt it. No, this can't be.
Okay, because that was what was on the screen I saw. So.
Yeah, no, because they're still picking the Illidan's. This has to be in order. So Zeratul, I mean, Tass is banned, so I mean, there's that. Zeratul has a little bit more freedom. Zera can actually solo lane, can stall really well, just bounce in and out of fights. It actually stops the opponent going for a very squishy backline as well. So I mean, like, you already can't go Vala because Tass is out.
Right.
You can't go Li Ming, you can't go Falstad because Zeratul will just destroy them. So you kind of have, there's more risk in going there, so you kind of have to go for these weirder picks later on, I guess. And it kind of threatens you and forces you into almost a choke.
Right. I mean, and it's hard, especially with the task ban. You can't like pick something low. Zeratul's out; he's countered. It's not really. Yeah, so I can see it. Yeah, for sure. So, Gale Force picking up a couple of comfort picks themselves. Aquaface's Brightwing and Falstad, also 2 globals. Yeah,
so Brightwing straight away counters Zeratul. Phase shift at 4, reveal an entire area. It is actually huge.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Right, small map.
Yeah, small map. Like, you're fighting over in very small places. Phase shift in. Like, even if you're next to someone, just phase shift because like the talent at 1 is so good as well. Zeratul's seen. Like, you then essentially lose a member unless Zeratul's gonna start peeling. But it's a global as well, and it's decent in the 4-man. You have the wave clear. And then you got the Falstad as well for the global. Either a strong solo lane up top, Or again, good in rotation because of, well, the wave clear you can... Or if you opt to go for like this 1-1-3 kind of thing and just not rotate at all, Falstad can soak really safely from range. So solid picks for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So what do they get over here? Teammate picks up Ragnaros and Li Ming. So same picks, a couple of the same picks we saw last game, but obviously in different order on different teams. Now this Li Ming's great on this map.
Well,
yeah.
So is Ride, right? I mean,
yeah.
we choked and as well as the Meteor and the range on his trait.
Yeah, like you can take over mid or top keep and just stall for days. Also, the fact that if you do take over bot keep when there are pumpkin sappers, it goes away from Rag's health and keeps the keep intact. So that's also pretty decent. And it's Ragnaros, so I mean, strong solo laner.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
And Li Ming stall on the altars.
Yeah,
all day.
Li Ming stall on Trib, and with the Zeratul pick, it meant that the GFE couldn't pick it up. So it essentially frees you up here. It's a lot of damage. They've got Brightwing Falstad, two relatively squishy heroes. So if Zeratul is able to get any value, Li Ming will just pop off from resets as well. So.
And I do have a question from the chat, which I'm curious too. Nax wants to know what you're drinking. What's in the yellow cup?
This is Izzo's burrito. I just went and got a burrito beforehand. It is empty now, but it was... You know, you get like those Coke machines where you can like essentially mix any soda with like
Blade Runner
any
Coke
flavor.
machine. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was Diet Coke with lemon.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I call them the Blade Runner machine because they're so futuristic. It makes me feel like I'm cyberpunk.
My first choice is Sprite with strawberry, but they were out of strawberry, so I went for Diet Coke with lemon.
I like the Sprite with grape, and I'm not a Sprite guy, but the Sprite with grape is good.
I'm not a grape guy.
No,
like, grape is a
grape
very
guy.
American thing. Yeah, it's very American.
It's like cough syrup.
You're like cough syrup, Ryan. Except you
don't
make me feel better.
I was going to say, don't you mean...
All right, so thank you for letting us know. It was the burning question. So Li Ming Rag, and then we get a ban on the side, and a late Malf ban, but obviously it makes sense given what we've seen.
Yeah.
So they banned Malf out on the side of Gale Force.
I mean, yeah, you can buy Malf, like, VP into root is really, really strong.
Would
and
you...
of course, gone.
Oh, sorry. Would you have picked up the Malf before Rag or Li Ming?
I mean, obviously, picking Zeratul, you know you're not getting Malf.
But you could have.
I don't know. I think those three picks are actually really strong, and Teammate are a weird team for starters.
They are. They definitely are.
They don't really ever play super standard. So, I mean,
yeah,
all for them for not picking a Malf. I'm big advocates of never picking Malfurion.
Yeah, I hear you. He's really, really damn good. Okay, so yeah, Malf ban is an opportunity. Like, they probably, when they got to ban that, they're like, oh, okay, well, at least we got to ban that because they could have picked it. So Rag Li Ming, and then they ban on the side of Teammate. They do ban the Diablo again. So ETC still hanging around here. They decided to go with Diablo over ETC. Why do you think that is?
So GFE don't really have follow-up for ETC right now in these two picks. Like, there's no Malfurion. ETC Malfurion is broken. There's no Rag. There's no Dahaka. Diablo, you get rid of him. So, like, if ETC slides in, he would just get punished so hard. And if ETC slides in, Zeratul just goes ham on the backline, and then it's really hard to peel. Like, if an ETC ever, like, screws up a power slide, so easy to get the punish off. So there's no real priority on the ETC there. Diablo, however, is a tank that can go in and just keep going. And of course, around the altar spawns, there are so many walls. Like, so many plays can be made.
Yeah, that's very true. Especially once you get domination at 16.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
What's up, Ryan?
Well, I was going to ask why we haven't seen Zarya so far.
So, with task banned out, Zarya kind of loses a little bit of value. But you can obviously see that Teammate are going to go for... Like, Teammate are going for this comp of just try and blow someone up.
Right.
And Zarya doesn't really do much there. And then, on the other side, GFE... I mean, they have the Brightwing, they have the Falstad. They're not really showing much here. You can't really go for the Vala into the Zeratul. So there's no need to get rid of the Zarya. on that part, because Vala Zarya is a great combination. Also, you have no one that can really step up alongside the Zarya right now to try and get that energy. So I think that's why we haven't seen it there. Plus, we have the stall in the Brightwing and the Falstad already. There's no need for the Zarya Qs, and you're just kind of taking up a melee slot that doesn't really give too much.
I was thinking Expulsion Zone here, but...
I mean, yeah, for sure. But then on the other side, you already have Zeratul Rag in this melee slot that Zarya would be in, and you need a proper tank front line, so that's why there's no Zarya here.
Makes sense, for sure. I mean, I think obviously she'd still be a good hero with either of these guys, but it's not the optimal pick, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? Just Ban Diablo. So they pick up Muradin and Tychus, do Gale Force. And so Muradin over ETC here, probably for the reasons you listed, and Tychus.
Yeah, so Muradin is Muradin. You have a decent amount of frontline control. Stun is pretty decent. Stun into poly is nice. It's just a big, beefy tank, and you hit late game, you can't die. Even to the burst they have, you need consistent damage to blow up to kill a Muradin, and they just can't do it with that burst that they have right now. So it is a solid pick. Your frontline is always going to be there, and it's B-Kid. B-Kid is Muradin and B-Kid go together so well. So I think that's why they went for it there. And Tychus, you've got the Rag frontline. They have to go for another warrior. They have another melee. Odin shreds Li Ming. If you Odin up before altar spawns, you've essentially gained control of that altar. So Odin is so strong right now.
That's very true. Yeah, we used to see laser a lot, but with the way the meta shifted, with the heavier front lines and just the healers that are available, Odin definitely took over as the ult of choice.
I mean, it's a map as well where you want to kind of get that control. It's not going to really be a long team fight. You're seeing a lot of teams when they're sieging something as well pop Odin really early just so they're guaranteed to get it.
Right.
Whereas maybe on a map, say, I guess Shrines, where there's consistent fighting. Maybe if you're into a Sonya maybe or something like that, then Drill can be okay. But yeah, Odin just super strong.
Yeah. Okay, so going back over to Team 8's side, they round out their composition with Kerosene, interesting, and ETC. There's the ETC we've been talking about.
Yeah. So, what are the supports left right now? So you got Uther,
Oriel.
Uther is full on Dan's game right now. But 10 armor, no, terrible. Uther needs mana changes. I guess maybe a change to his Q, and I'd like to see his E be a skill shot that stuns the first target. That would be really nice, because his E right now is so boring. It's drop a hammer, point it. It's literally just
maybe give it some range or something, and then make it a skill shot. Yeah,
pretty short range, something like the range of
a Dahaka drag maybe.
Yeah, Dahaka drag seems like a decent range. Maybe a little bit more width on it, but. Yeah, I can see a Dahaka drag a little bit more, maybe. It'd be decent.
It's a shame.
It's a shame, too,
the
first hero.
Uther is really fun. I think he's really fun to play, but he just doesn't cut it,
I really like W build. W build Uther is really fun.
That's the build I do, too. I still do that. It's great.
There just doesn't seem to be a place for him in this meta at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last meta when Thrall was 100% in the meta with EQ, D-Shield had a lot of value. D-Shield can have value now too, with the stun meta coming back.
Yeah.
When we were scrimming for Seattle, in Seattle, we ran Zera Jaina, VP into ring. We scrimmed against Murlocs at the time, so it was June. And June frame perfectly cleanse D-Shielded 2 people. Frame perfect as soon as the ring hit, cleanse D-Shield. DS.
Yeah, he's been on the show before, and he's obviously a very, very good player. Yeah, he was a joy to have on here too. So Uther, I mean, Divine Shield's always going to be Divine Shield. Yeah.
Yeah. Change Q, change E, fix up a few talents. They're a little bit too generic right now, and we good.
Yeah.
But what other spots left here? Medic,
Oriel.
No. Oriel, you've got no real hope.
Kerosene.
Monk gets picked. Rhaegar,
right.
But I mean,
you don't have an auto attacker,
Well, yeah.
Monk's pretty decent. I've really been liking Monk. Like, when I get a chance, I'm picking Monk in Hero League right now, and it is really fun to play. Like, I used to think Monk was brain dead, like so boring, but right now, so good.
Yeah, I think Karazine's super fun.
I was a big advocate for Insight Monk. I think it still actually has value in some maps, especially against like heavy poke comps. You could just go Insight and you're healing for days. I also much prefer seven-sided. Seven-sided will destroy the Muradin. Like that's what I was on about with consistent damage, and there's no real burst for you to warrant go in palm here, so seven-sided is pretty insane.
Right, and the ETC empowers seven-sided and Sulfurous like so heavily, and the Void Prison, all that.
I like it.
You can really get that seven-sided off, which is, I mean, Muradin's very vulnerable to that. Probably the most vulnerable tank to it, unless his jumps.
Yeah,
up.
ETC is probably the other. Like ETC slides in.
True. That's true.
Like if you can time a seven-sided with a mosh, or like you seven-sided as the enemy ETC moshes, he's just a sitting duck. Like he has to decide, do I cancel this and get out, or do I just die?
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, and do you play? I assume do you play? What do you take at level 1 with Karazine right now? Do you go Iron Fist or?
It's like for me, it's like 85-15 to Iron Fist.
Okay. Yeah.
Iron Fist Insight.
Yeah.
Cleanse at 16 is actually pretty decent if you go Q build, but Way of 100 Fist,
so
much fun.
Yeah. I don't know if, the sound effect alone.
It really is.
Yeah. I don't know if you all saw the highlight that Kendrick posted on Twitter, but because he does HGC replays, Merry Day Monk, he's coming down towards mid from top brush, and he just Q's Tyrael, Q's Malfurion, and then Q's the Falstad just to kill the Falstad. Like, Merry Day is such a sick monk. Like, QQQ on... Yeah, QQQ on 3 different people to get the final kill. It was awesome. Beautiful.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
That Karazine is such a cool hero, and I love his new skin. So, yeah.
When I look at Team 8 here, though, I see a lot of melee. Is there a concern here, or not so much?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you really worried about when you have that much melee into that team? Like, Tychus, yeah, sure, maybe.
Lunara.
Well,
I mean, just with what they have now, I mean, Thunderclap's okay, but you're not really attack speed based except for Monk. So,
yeah,
right wing, you're vulnerable to a poly, but that's 9 times out of 10 going on Zeratul or Rag. So,
I think the big worry when you have a melee comp is taking too much range damage. You know, like just
it's taking that poke.
Yeah, we also have Just here though that can cause some pretty interesting disengage,
sure.
right?
I agree. If Gale Force had the Li Ming or something, I'd be worried about all that melee, but they don't. I mean, obviously, I'd still have some concerns with the 4 melee, especially my healer being melee, but I don't think it looks terrible. So this is an interesting part of the draft here. Gale Force with Michael Udall on the Illidan. So not expected there.
Yeah, no, not expected at all. So.
Especially without
it's definitely a surprise. Like this could be a reason. Like the 4 melee, like if you get a 4-man meta, so much value there. Like that's pretty nice. And then you just become a distraction. Like they have to turn and focus you while Tychus is just killing your tank.
Right.
You're so slippery.
They don't have a lot of peel or lockdown for him either. I mean, they have some.
Yeah, exactly. Like once Sulfurous and Slider down, what do you have?
Right.
Like Monk brings no CC. Monk can kind of destroy an Illidan with 7-sided.
Yeah.
But Sulfurous goes down early, and there's a power slide down. What do you have left? Like, you can VP to isolate, and then try and kill the Illidan, but even so, he's just so slippery, he'll just pop evasion and just get out of there, and find a way into the VP, and then there's nothing left afterwards, so...
No, it's
an interesting pick.
He has to stay slippery, though, because as soon as he loses focus, he will die. Like, because just the lack of support, you know. Now they do have...
Brightwing's decent.
Yeah. So cleanse is nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of burst in there. And,
yeah, you can go cleanse here with the Illidan, or you can go face shield. It's probably like 60-40 to cleanse actually. Face shield on Illidan's always nice.
Right.
And then you're actually able to keep up because Brightwing is really slippery as well.
Yeah,
like double blink kill, and I know that June I know this isn't June, but June at level 20 really likes double wormhole, so you've suddenly got 4 blinks.
Right.
And like you can just Illidan blink out, back on Illidan and out again. Like so slippery. You can actually keep up with Illidan well, give him the block as well into like the Rag Zera or even Monk. So it's pretty nice. And again, it's something I said, if you have a team that can skirmish well, Illidan, Falstad, Tychus with Muradin frontline, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, As long as the Illidan has some other hero with him in the near vicinity, he's going to be all right. It doesn't matter which one really either. So that's an interesting pick. Usually, we have these kind of staples in our mind of like Illidan goes with this, but it's not
Illidan Rhaegar, Illidan Taz, Illidan Zarya.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily true. Like he can succeed in other situations, and I believe Gale Force did win this game, if memory serves.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching this one, and so a very interesting draft, and also Michael Udall very comfortable on the hero too. So that always
that's
helps.
That's a comfort pick.
Yeah, it's something Crowan brought up in an interview actually, that they just have essentially 4 flex players.
Yeah.
It's Akka and the flexes.
Akka and 4 flexes. Yeah, I remember them saying that, and it's pretty true actually. Like, Crowan plays Murid in this game, I'm assuming, and yeah, so because he plays a lot of Murid, he's very comfortable on that hero.
Yeah, but I mean, it is B-Kid, so.
Oh, is it? Okay, I thought maybe they might have put him on.
No, I'm pretty sure it's B-Kid.
Because B-Kid.
I know Crowan was like back in the day when Ruffle left. Like they suddenly lost a Falstad player. Right. So I know both Crowan and Udall were having to practice the Falstad, and then Fan comes in and like Fan's this god melee that can actually play anything in the game.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, Tychus is actually a hero as well that just clicks with some people and doesn't with others. Because it's very unique playstyle, very different to like your Falstad Valor Li Ming, and then very different to your mages. So having someone that's extremely competent and very versatile be able to play Tychus to a high standard is always brilliant too.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, I don't think I've ever seen B-Kid not play tank though. Speaking of them being flexes,
it's. Well, I mean, he can if needed.
I'm sure he could. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, and let's see, Towers of Doom. So, do you have anything else to say overall about this draft?
No. It started out weird, and started out weird for Team 8, and then ended weird for GFE. But
yeah,
I mean,
even weirder. Yeah.
That's some weird bookends here.
GFE had pretty standard prioritization. Like Brightwing Falstad Global's fine with the Harker out. Like there's no other global left. ETC could go dive, but when you're skirmishing stage dive, Mosh Pit's pretty decent. Again, forced onto like that monk support. Supports and tanks are in a weird place where you can really just funnel down picks. Like
yeah, that's true. There's definitely a lack, especially in the support department.
Like there are some teams that will just first ban ETC, and then there's like a Dahaka ban or like a Diablo ban and then like there's more tank bans in second rotation. And it's like, well, I guess we're Johanna. So.
Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah, and that kind of happened to Team 8 here on the support side too. With Kerazine.
Where do you see Rhaegar in this meta?
I mean, thank God we're away from the Bloodlust meta.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, that was no fun.
Really, really fun, interactive, heroic.
Right.
Ancestral's probably one of the best feelings. Like you hit a money Ancestral, so good. I think Rhaegar still has value for sure. On maps like Shrines where you can go Lightning Bond and just like Rhaegar Sonya's coming back, so having Rhaegar Sonya is so nice. Although I've been seeing way too many Sonyas go Poison Spear for my liking, like that tilts me.
It's just they want to do the new thing,
More damage.
Yeah. And it does have some burst to it for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. It has damage on it, but healing is disgusting on.
You should heal yourself. Yeah. Because
especially now with Whirlwind, like you do not die.
Not dying is good. Yeah.
Like before, it was like, oh, Sonya's at level 20, GG. Now it's like, well, Sonya's like what, level 7. Guess we can't kill her till we get ults.
Yep, pretty much. So. Yeah, and I've been meaning to play a little more of her because I've always loved playing that hero. But yeah, okay. All right, well, I think that's about covers it for today for Nexus Drafthouse. Hosselote, we know what you've been up to. You're doing school and you're going to get ready for Here's the Dorm. And Here's the Dorm is in... When is that?
Dorm actually starts next Wednesday is our first game, so it's 7 Central, I think. I'm planning to stream my POV unless we get casted, but it's Swiss, so we have Wednesday... Let me bring up dates. Like it's 1BO3 every day, which is kind of
Yeah.
Wednesday 15th, Sunday 19th, Wednesday 22nd, Sunday 26th. Wednesday the 1st is all 5 Swiss games, and then after that we play like all the 16 teams that qualify then play a bracket for seeding into the main event. The South is actually really stacked. LSU, UTA, and UTK. if those three teams do not make, like, if those three teams meet before finals, Tespa have done something wrong.
Yeah.
I will openly say that. I've criticized Tespa in the past. I think the way they're running Dorm this year is weird and not good from a league op standpoint, so we'll see where that goes. But
Right.
Dorm finals are around April 8th. It's around spring break time, I think.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Is it
finals...
Seattle again this year?
No, they haven't announced
No,
it.
yeah, it hasn't been announced.
Oh, okay.
I have a big inkling as to where it is, but I'm not going to say.
Sure.
But yeah, it hasn't been announced yet. I don't think they'll go back to Seattle. They don't have ESPN funding this year either. It's going to be streamed live on Facebook Live.
Right.
Again, I will happily criticize that as well. Facebook Live dance game.
Yeah, I mean, full screen is the same thing, isn't it?
Wait, what?
Isn't it full screen? It's the same, right? I think that's how I see it. I'm just like, yeah, I watch this stuff full screen anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, okay.
Well,
it's not about that. It's about viewership. Like,
yeah,
ESPN had a ton of viewers because people would be like, oh, like flicking through channels and ESPN 2. Oh, this looks interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Facebook Live. It also, thing with Twitch is that it's very non-personal. Like, everyone hides behind a Twitch name. You just spam Kappas and dance games and PogChamps.
Right.
Facebook Live, you're commenting with your Facebook account, which a lot of people keep very private.
Right.
Like, people use Twitter as a way to reach out to the world. Facebook is a very closed social network.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get those accidental viewers that ESPN will.
It's definitely like friends and family. Yeah.
Well, it falls back into their partnership with the BattleNet streaming, right? I mean, that's
I am sure that Tespa and Blizz are getting a ton of money from Facebook for this.
Yeah.
Like, a lot more than they got from ESPN.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I know ESL are putting some stuff out on Facebook Live that's had decent viewership. I've seen UK CS:GO out there, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, the quality is fine.
Yeah, and I would love to use the Facebook. Actually, I'd like to use the Facebook streaming for our streams on our Storm Legacy Facebook page. The problem is you can't do Twitch and Facebook at the same time with like a normal person's internet.
So you'd have to have it from you'd have to have it from two.
Yeah, because if you try to do both at once, it just lags out like crazy. So hopefully that gets fixed. But
I guess you could do like stream to an RTMP.
Yeah, like stream to a proxy play,
and then go from there.
I was thinking of
then
looking into that. Yeah. But.
Yeah, and then it branches out. But I don't know if Facebook has that input. I know Twitch does with OBS or with OBS NextSplit, but I don't know if you can elsewhere. But hey ho, Facebook Live. It's going to be interesting. Dorm finals. My top 4 picks for Dorm right now.
Yeah, let's hear them.
In no particular order: LSU, UTA. University of Tennessee, Knoxville, they have Rufflecopter. I mean, they're a decent team. Our scrims have been going well against them, but...
Is Gutslug back?
No, it is...
I love that kid. That kid made me laugh,
he graduated.
Oh, okay.
It is Rufflecopter, Frumgore, Finkeldorf. Those are like the main 3 players. Then you have Niddy and someone else. Rufflecopter's like the ultimate flex in that team.
Right.
Played scrims against them last night. One game he was tank. One game he was Varian. One game he was Grey Main. One game he was Falstad. Like,
nice.
Yeah. He's the ultimate flex. He'll play anything. But yeah, those 3, and then I don't know. There are a lot of teams that have like 1 or 2 top players, but it's whether they can carry. Like Toronto, if FC and Specialty put time in, they could do well. UCLA has Protege, who's been playing since Alpha. He was in the amateur scene for a long time. RMU have players on scholarships for some dumb reason. Like,
wait, who has scholarships?
RMU, Robert Morris. They're a really small university just outside Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Like, they were one that pioneered esports for some reason.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have these terrible players on scholarships. Like, literally any player in top 8 HGC Open could probably apply and go there. Like,
and see, this is.
But their program's terrible. So.
This is why I regret being as old as I am. If this had been around when I was like going to college, oh man, I'd be a Robert Morris guy. It'd be great.
I mean, they started it for League. And then Dorm rolled around. I mean, they have one decent name, which is Mysticles. He's been in the amateur scene for a while. There are other players like Diamond, but I don't know. Our first ever set of scrims was against them. We didn't do too well, but it was our first game together. That was when we had Hecarim J on tank and Wins on melee, but we've switched that up now. I'm feeling a lot smoother.
Right.
What other
Well-
schools are there? I think that's basically it. And then Domovarian, who's like a Medivh one trick. He can for sure carry his team with Medivh.
Yeah,
Apparently
Domavarian, very good at that hero. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they've been scrimming really well. So it'll be interesting to see. Like,
Yeah,
I want to
it's
know
one of
how. I want to know how much they prioritize the Medivh. Like,
You would
if you're
think.
able to wait to the second rotation to ban it, then great.
Yeah.
But,
I love watching good Medivh play though. So
Oh yeah,
we'll
it's
see a
always
lot of that.
always fun. Yeah, for sure. Now, Heroes of the Dorm was my favorite esports event I've ever attended, like easily. I loved Heroes of the Dorm, so I'm looking forward to the next one, like big time.
I don't know. I never went, but I don't think anything for me could top Cologne Major for CS:GO over summer.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I did enjoy DreamHack a lot, but I think I liked Heroes of the Dorm.
I have yet to go to a DreamHack. I really want to go to a summer or winter up in Jönköping, Sweden. But
I went to the one in Austin this summer.
Austin,
yeah,
yeah.
it was great. All right, cool. So
Yeah.
you can follow Hosselote. Hosselote, are you going to be posting if you like do POV of your dorm games and stuff?
yeah, I did a test stream yesterday.
Okay.
I'll either stream to my account or to the esports LSU because we're really trying to push our college scene.
Okay.
So
So follow those.
Great.
Follow Hosselote and
at Hosselote
and
and
at
my
LSU.
Twitch. So at Hosselote, HOSSELOTE. That one's been rehearsed for a long time. At I think it's esports LSU.
Okay.
Yeah, esports LSU on Twitter,
Yep. Found
and then
it.
Twitch. Yeah, twitch.tv/ESL_Hoss and twitch.tv/esports LSU.
Cool.
For those dank streams and mediocre memes.
I'm sure your memes are just fine, buddy. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and talking drafts with us. We always love doing this show with people who know what they're talking about. So it's always
Yeah,
fun.
we really
Always a
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Mhm.
Wait. Y'all think I knew what I was on about? Hello?
Well, you at least were able to act like you know, which is all that we really require.
You just fed huge bad information. That's
Yeah.
all.
wait,
Oh,
yeah.
this was all to throw off you.
This was just a meme. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
That's
fell
right.
for it. So me and you are suckers, I guess. So.
That's probably the only thing you two have in common. So.
Also, he's been on Nexus Drafthouse. So there you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
nice.